Hey guys, ILene Vick here for Adult Coloring with ILene Vick, and I'm working on the continued project of Enchanted Forest. I will be working on components of this, and in this video I am looking to do the door for you, the mushrooms, and also, given time, the ladder, and then we'll see where we are with everything else. All right, so I hope you're enjoying this project so far. I've had a lot of fun showing it to you. I hope that you're learning something. You know that I try to do something a little bit out of the ordinary. And as you can see, I went ahead and I finished the stump. And as you can also see, you can't really tell where the drawn lines are of the coloring book are, which is exactly what I wanted. And I had forgotten to do this little part on the arm, so I went ahead and did that as well. All right, so if you have any questions, I want you to contact me. You've got my email address and you have the comments section. All right, and before I go on with that project, I'm working on doing some videos on how to color gold. So I need to know whether this is something of interest to you, because you know that I am a viewer-driven colorist. So I went ahead and did some gold coloring, was playing around with it, had some fun with it. Did a wide band right here, and then I did 2 narrow bands on this ring. And the reason I got to looking at that is because Johanna Bosford has this project, which is the watch, and I'm looking at making the outside of this gold, as well as the pointers, directional pointers. So what I need to know from you is this of interest to you? Both from the standpoint of learning how I color gold. There are a lot of people that do it and they have different methods, but I'm more than happy to show you mine. And I may consider also doing this timepiece, depending if you're interested in it. So I was fooling around with the gold. Let me pull you in. And you can see how I colored it in on this skull. I'm thinking it looks pretty cool, guys. So I need to know whether this is something that you want me to color for you, teach you, and then we'll go from there. All right, so let's get back to the subject at hand. Let me grab a little of my water. I'm excited about doing this project for you. I think it's a good one. I'm going to start on the door. And the first color that I'm going to be working with, let me see something here. One moment. Okay, I'm actually doing this project in all Fila pencils, but for this particular project, because I didn't grab it out beforehand, and rather than stop the video, I'm going to go ahead and use the colors that I already have. So I've got PC 943, which is the burnt ochre, and then I have PC 942, which is the yellow ochre, and I have a PC 915, which is my lemon yellow, and then I have a PC 947, which is getting pretty darn short, which is the dark umber. Okay, so let's get coloring. All right. So what I'm looking at right now is we've got light coming out of here. So I'm going to start with just a little bit of my PC 943, which is the burnt ochre. In effect, guys, I'm really creating gold here. So this is another way of doing it. Let me pull you in just a little bit more. Now, you don't want to go too far down with your ochre because this part here basically is lighter. And actually, I'm going to erase that brown that I just put in there. There we go. I mean, these are the preliminary steps to doing gold, but right now I'm doing this light. Okay, so now I'm doing the yellow ochre, which I'm putting on top here. And the reason for doing this, you can see how it really makes gold. All right. And then I'm going to pull this down. We want it a little bit ragged. Take it easy with your pressure. You know I always tell you that. And as I just said, I'm creating that ragged edge there. And then I'm coming in with my lemon yellow. And I'm pulling this out the door. And I'm coloring around my little rocks and so forth. And you want a really, really good blend and transition. That's why I'm putting these colors over, blending over them quite a bit. And then I'm easing off the pressure on my yellow. And I think we're good to about there. So make sure that you get a really, really good blend here. Oh yeah, I think that's looking pretty cool. And I'm blending the heck out of it with the yellow. And again, keep this fading out in your light, so you want to ease up on that. And then I'm going to take my dark umber and very, very lightly, I mean, it's so subtle here. On a scale from 1 to 10, you know, I always like to tell you how dark I'm pressing on something. It's like a 0. 0.5. So I'm coloring in this V just a little bit, okay? And then bring it out and blending it, or merging it, I should say, into the door frame. Okay? That's all you want. Whisper touch, guys. Okay. And again, the only reason I didn't do it with the Fila in this case is because I had these handy and I just didn't want to restart my video. I admit it, I'm a little lazy. All right, so I'm going to color this, erase this door frame because I accidentally colored it brown earlier. There we go. Does that not look cool? I think it does. Okay. Okay, back to Fila. All right, and I'm going to remind you, Fila is not paying me for this to promote them at all. I'm just telling you about them because I really like them. I think they blend really well. They're soft, they're creamy. I think their pigments are good. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on this door after I get a little water. You know me, I start talking and I cough. I don't smoke, really don't drink, certainly don't do drugs, but yet I always have this little cough and drainage. I'm having problems with my left ear, so hopefully I'm not yelling at you. Okay, so one of the things that I've used before, let me pull you out, is this compass. And I've used it in some of my other videos. It's from Walmart. And the thing is, Walmart, or not Walmart, but the supplier, which is, I want to say Fiskars? Yeah, Fiskars brand. They provide you with this little dinky, tiny pencil, and it's totally useless. So what you need to do is make sure that whatever brand you buy, and this is why I bought this one, is because it fits a number 2 pencil. So for obvious reasons, I got lots of pencil instead of that stupid little refill. Love it. All right. So what I'm looking at right now is, and I'm going to have to, let's see what the best angle is for you. The idea is the light is coming from the inside of the house. And so you want part of your door a little bit lighter and then darker on the edge as it comes out. So what I've done is I've put my point about halfway up the door, just a little bit below. I better come in here. You know me, I love to work on macro view to help you guys. So I want to come in just a little bit below that point there. So I'm going to stick it right, let's see if I can find my original hole. No, okay. So I'm going to put it there, and the pencil then is going to hit at the base of this leaf here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a very, very light line. All right, now let me move my camera while I'm drawing with the other one. That goes all the way up to the door. Now, I stopped there because if I keep going, it's going to curve. Actually, that's all right. I'm going to curve it to about there. See that pencil? Okay, it's not hard. So I curved it to about there. So what's going to happen now is this part of the door will be lighter green, excuse me, leaves, door, okay, and this part will be darker greens, okay? So you know me, I just didn't want to do a standard door. So let me get you in a place that I'm comfortable with the camera, but where you can still see. And to do this little project, I got my Fila 168 for the lighter part of the door, and also 120, which is lawn green. Let me go back on that 168. It says middle yellowish green. Okay, and then for the darker part of the door, I've got 011 Fila, which is forest green. And then I have 148, which is kiwi green. All right, so let me swatch these for you. I already did, but you know, I'm going to show you again. Okay, so this is my yellowish green. You can see where I'm working on my ladder. And then this is my lawn green. And then this is my, for the darker part, kiwi green. And then my forest green, which you would expect, of course, to be darker, which it is. Okay, so there are the colors for you. You take a peek at them while I put my compass away. But yeah, get yourself a compass because I've used it on other projects. If you've watched my videos, I've made suns with them. I've made moons with it. I've made lighthouse light with it. It's really good. Okay. So let me come out just a little bit here. So I've got my pencil line, which you can just barely see. And the reason that I put my compass point here is because the light's coming from here. So I'm going to start coloring this. Now remember, your line is about here. So I'm just going to go ahead and follow that line so I don't mess myself up. Okay, now while I'm doing this, I'm going to erase that pencil line. Why? Because pencil has a fiendish way of staying on the paper once you put color on it. And you did not see me use my hand to do that. Oh my. Well, at least I'm remembering my paper towel to rest my hand on. I used to be really bad at that. Okay, so there's my line roughly. And you know I always tell you, but I always have to repeat myself because I get new subscribers, is put your color in lightly before making your final decisions on how you want stuff to look. Okay. So now I'm going to get my kiwi green, which is the lighter of the two for the darker stuff. And I'm going to do the darker portion now. And it's perfectly okay to run over that edge that you've got your lighter green. In fact, you want that because you want that puppy to blend. Gotta make sure I don't hit that door frame. I accidentally colored my door frame brown. Remember when I did that in my other video? Yikes. Now, you guys know that I mess up on purpose just to show you that I'm human, right? And that I'm not perfect. And that we all mess up. It's my story and I'm sticking to it. If anyone cares to disagree with me, you can email me. Alright, so I'm going to darken that just a little bit up here. And how do I darken? Repeated strokes, right? Okay, and you can already see how you're seeing that reflection of the light on the door. Clever. Alright, so I'm back to my very light again. Okay, now I'm using in my light set, which is the long green now. If you want to start, you know, doing your coloring of your leaves and stuff, that's what we can do. Now, be careful though, right here, because you're going into your darker color. Okay, so I'm going to stop that right there. Let's see, where's my dark? Yeah, about there. Now, if you want to use a lot of other greens on your leaves because you like to detail your leaves, have at it. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and use my, my forest green here on this light side just to do the base. It won't hurt anything or screw up your color scheme. Let's see here. Just watch where your leaves go into your dark. Okay, now I've got my kiwi green here. And the reason I'm not concerned with it conflicting is because I'm laying the kiwi green down on my light green, so it's picking up the color from that. Now, having said that, don't get rid of all your base green that you laid down. Don't cover all of it. Oh yeah, that looks really cool. All right, so we've got the light portion of this door colored in. Now I'm going to go back with my lightest green and emphasize that just a little more because I don't want to lose that. Okay, then I'm going to take my kiwi green. Now remember, when I first laid down my colors, I told you to do it lightly, right? So now I'm just going in and adjusting to the final color that I want on this puppy. So I've got my I've got my kiwi green here, and I'm darkening this. Buggers, I knew I was going to hit that door frame. And you know me, stuff like that bothers the heck out of me, even though I know I'm going to be coloring, well, over it, but I don't know yet what I'm going to color over with. Okay, so now I'm going to take my forest green, and you can see that division line beautifully, and that's what you want. Now I blended it earlier so it would be smooth, but now I want to make sure that I've got that distinguishing break between the two colors. So you kind of want to blend it just a little bit, but we still want to have it distinguished between, okay? So I'm working on the edge, and then I'm going to pull out here on the edges. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so let me dust her off. Let me pull you out. What do you think? I'm liking it. And if you have to adjust afterwards, that's fine. I've got my darkest green. I'm still tweaking it just a little bit. But you know me, I fuss and fuss and fuss, and you guys have to keep yelling at me to quit fussing on my segments. Woo! All right. I'm thinking that looks pretty good, guys. Okay, now on this brown here, where I've got the ochre, I just want to hit that just a little bit with my yellow ochre. Not much, but I'm just blending it a little bit. Okay, there you go. So what do you think? And in fact, the more that I look at it here, I'm going to pull this yellow out just very lightly, just a little bit more. I mean, just light. You may not even be able to see it on camera, but I see it. Let me zoom you in and see. Yeah, you can see that. I mean, just way light. We're good. Okay. All right. So, until I start fussing with it, the door's done. You should see my desk. I got a boatload of greens here. Look, here, let me show you these. I pulled out all my Filas because I wanted to pick my greens. Okay. All right. Filas go back in the box. All right, guys. I'm pausing the video. I'm going to do the mushrooms next. And then we'll go from there. Back in a moment. Okay, guys. I'm back. I've got my colors for my mushrooms. And let me swatch them for you so you can see. All right. Pull you in, pull you in, pull you in. So basically you want a nice red, an orange, and a very dark purple. So I've got my scarlet. If you've got Fila, it's color 118. That's a really nice red. Yeah, let me pull you in just a tad. I guess it should be. It says scarlet. Okay, and then I have orange. And that color is 008. And then I have, you want a dark purple. So I've got a deep purple. Smoke on the water. Okay, color 171. And the reason that works is when you put it on your red, it turns really dark. Okay, so what I need you to do is I pull you out for the moment. Is I need you to, if you haven't seen this, I need you to pop over to my YouTube video, particularly the one dated March 5th, 03/5/2020, and I was working on mushrooms. It was out of the Daydreams book, and I showed you how I colored mushrooms. So if you want to review that, fine. If you just want to watch what I'm doing here, that's fine, but you know, that way you know what's coming up and that may help you. Oh man, I love that door. I'm really happy with the way that little puppy came out. Yeah. Okay, anyway. So, let me do a mushroom. Let me do a mushroom. Yes, I'm in a very good mood. Okay, so I'm going to work on this little guy here. I may do the big one as well. Well, let me do the big one. All right, so what you want to do, start with your red on the outside. And basically you need to pick a width that you want that red to come into. your mushroom. So I'm going to go in probably about that width. And as I've told you, until I'm blue in the face, remember you want to start out light. Now, even though I know my colors and what this little puppy's going to look like, I still want it light because I'm making decisions as I go along of how thick I want this part. Oops, didn't mean to do that, but I did. But that's all right because I know that's going to be inside the red. So I'm coloring in little circles, and I'm turning my pencil. Every time I lift it, I turn it a little bit because that preserves, I almost started to say perverts, preserves the tip, and it makes your pencil last longer because you're not having to stick it in the pencil sharpener so every time, or so often is what I meant. Okay, so I'm going to go a little thicker over here, a little wider. And by the way, I'm going to do these little circles with Posca pen. Okay, so now I am ready to rock and roll. So I'm going pretty firm now with my pencil. And by the way, that lovely music, as you can see in the right-hand corner of my video, is by Whispering's Piano. I subscribe to them, 30 bucks a year. %100% piano, commercial free. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm coloring darker from about halfway up to here. Now, as I round this corner, I'm not going to round it perfectly because we're dealing with nature, right? So you want to be careful about not being too persnickety and precise when you color things like mushrooms. For example, I'm going to make this darker red narrower over here than I did there. Water break. And then I'm going to lighten up as I come in. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Okay, now I'm going to take my orange. And I'm going to lightly color in this bottom half. And if I didn't forget in post-editing of my video, I went ahead and popped up a picture of what a finished mushroom is going to look like. Particularly, it would be this one. So I'm blending right into the red. And I'm coloring the bottom. And I'm going to leave a little light center, okay? Or a lighter center, I meant. And be sure that you blend your red and your orange so that your line does not show. I'm even going to go over this light red with the orange, which is fine because I wanted to smooth it out, but it also works to just go over it with the orange. Okay, and I jerked a little bit and went too straight here. Let me erase that so it's rounder. I wish I had just sneezed and then I would have had a reason for doing that. Ooh. But see, guys, I'm telling you, I show you these mistakes. And that way you don't make them. Oh, again, my story, I'm sticking to it. I'm so bad. Okay, looking good. So I'm going to take my blender pencil, which, give me a second, I got to sharpen the puppy so I don't get another color in here. Remember when I was blending, I think it was those leaves? No, what was it? It was something on one of my other videos. And I started to use my blender pencil and it brought up red, another color, and then I had to erase that. And it happened twice. I mean, you think, right, that after the first time, but no. I had to do it twice on camera. So I've got my blender pencil very lightly. These feelers actually hardly need blending. That's why I really like them. Okay, brush. And as you can see, I went out of bounds with the orange a little bit. Gonna fix it. There we go. Okay, what do you think so far? Now, if you don't like that a big blotch of orange, you can always take your red pencil and come in a little bit more with it. Now, I'm comfortable with the amount of orange I have. I'm just showing you. But the neat thing is when you go on top of the orange with the red, it starts to look what? Brownish. So that's just a cool thing too. There we go. Now sometimes what I do is I'll take my red and I'll go across the bottom of my orange with it. Excuse me, the bottom of the mushroom with it. Just make sure you don't get any wonky blend lines. So see, there's a lot you can do with this. Cool. Okay. And let me hit that little bit of orange that I got out. I don't know why that bugs me so much when I go outside the line. It just does. Maybe it's because I'm on video and I want it to be really great for you guys. Okay, so now I'm going to take my purple, deep purple, and I'm going to make sure that I brush everything. And I'm going to go on the top. Watch what this does. Now watch. I'm going to dip a little bit, okay? And come back up. This is so cool. Look at that. You can start to see it already. Isn't that cool? Now what I suggest you do is brush off your creation periodically so you can kind of see where you are. And again, you don't want your lines to be perfect, right? Because again, we're doing nature. So some are a little fatter, some are a little thinner. I'm going to go a little fatter on the top. But look, see how I accidentally went straight across? Don't do that. You want to round it. There we go. That's better. And as you come in a little bit, lighten up on your purple. Oh, this looks so cool. And then I'm just going to go with a narrower line down the side here. Now, this mushroom has a little dip in it right here, so the line, I believe, it's kind of covered up, but that's okay. I'm gonna dip with it. Let's see. And I got a little blotchy on the corner here. Let me fix that. Yeah, because I went out of the line. I, ILene Vick, hereby state from this moment on that every mistake that I make in all my colorings from this moment on are for illustrative purposes and are not intentional. Okay. All right. Now, sorry for the thumb. Now, another cool thing that I've done, and I am going to do it on this one, is, drum roll, I'm going to go ahead and outline this bottom with a teeny tiny amount of purple. And I'm going to follow every little divot in here, see? Right along the edge, just a little bit. This is optional, but if you keep your line thin, like what I'm doing, it creates a really nice shadowy effect. Okay. Remember, turn your pencil, which is really critical here because you want that skinny, skinny line. Okay, and then I'm just going to bring that, I'm going to flare that out a little bit on the corner. See how I'm doing that? It's like a V. Okay. Okay. Looking sweet. Okay, so now I'm going to, oh, let me grab something here. I had a really neat color that I used before. Let me see if I can find it. And that is not it. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Let's see. Okay, that'll work. So what I'm gonna do, look how terrific that mushroom looks, guys. Let me rotate it. I suppose that would help. See? And if you want, when you look at it, you can play with your purple line a little bit. Don't get too out there and just make it a little more jagged. I'm going to bring this purple in just a little bit more, and I'm going to lighten up, okay? But look how that's darkening that. Okay, I'm not pressing this hard, but it's laying down the purple. And now we're going to get some neat looking divots in our mushroom. Very, very light, guys. There you go. And I still don't like that top. It still looks like I'm going whoop. So I'm going to angle that up a little more. It's bugging me. Yeah, there we go. In fact, I'm going to bring some of the purple down here. Problem solved. Hold on, let me turn that upside down. remember, lighten your purple pencil as you come out. Oh yeah, there you go. And then don't be afraid to mush your colors together. It just gives a nice little subtle coloring. Okay, so I guess I can't stop on the mushrooms without showing you how I'm going to do the stem. So I'm going to take my Prismacolor, the PC 942, which was the yellow ochre, and I'm going to very lightly put that down as a base color. See, this way you know I'm not lying to you about Fila sponsoring, because I would never ever use another brand. Okay, now let me pull in. So I'm just going to add a little bit of character to this by putting a little squiggle line in that. And my new people say, ILene, how do I know how to put a squiggle line in? I don't know where to put it. Okay, well watch. So I came down a little bit, and then I just squiggled to the right and went back again, and then just kind of colored that in and went off to the side of it a little bit. See? You guys were asking me how I did my dragon horns a while back. Time for water. Okay, now I'm going to take my Crayola Twistable, and it's kind of a wonky brown. See that? I'm going to pull you in. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lightly color over this yellow. And I'm going to emphasize where Johanna put her dashed lines. Oh my gosh, I almost said Kirby. Look at that. How I got that nice little shade. And then in that area where I went to the side, well, I'm just going to go over the whole thing. And it gives a really nice streakish between the brown and the yellow. And then I'm going to emphasize the base. And then maybe just come up the side just a little bit. And then you get a mushroomy base. Now, remember, you can blend with your pencil, so I'm taking my yellow ochre and going back over that just a little bit. But don't go over too much, or else it's just gonna go mush on you. All right. And let me erase where I went outside. And if you don't like that much brown, guys, on there, you know, you don't have to add as much. I'd add a little bit. Let me put a little more of that yellow back in. Yeah. There we go. Okay, let me pull you out so you can see how this looks. Cool beans. Looking good. So that's how you do all your mushrooms. I chose the larger one so you can see that. It's going to get a little dicier with your smaller ones, but just follow the pattern that I gave you. You'll be fine. And this is where it's a good idea for you to join my Facebook group under the same name, Adult Coloring with ILene Vick, because while I'm uploading my video, I sit down and I finish this stuff. I didn't finish this, but I did some other things. You know, I finished the tree bark, but I finish it on my Facebook video, and I do it as a live coloring, so you can ask me questions. Now, when do I do this? Who knows, when the mood strikes me. I mean, it's 9 o'clock Central Time, and I still have to get a bite to eat, but I may do it tonight yet, which sometimes puts me 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm just cleaning this up. So I don't know what time zone that is at yours. But the really neat thing is when I download that video, when I'm done, it downloads and it's there for you to see after the fact. So you've got lots of access. Oh my gosh, I love that mushroom. All right, so let me pull out because now we got the door and the mushroom. Yeah. I like it. Okay, so now I'm going to do the ladder, and then I'm going to call it quits on this so far. I'll probably do the butterfly and the lantern. I mean, the leaves are straightforward. The grass is straightforward. You know, these little tufts of grass. You might want to watch my Facebook video on what I do with the rest of this. That's up to you. Okay, so let me clean up this ladder a little bit. And in fact, I gotta choose some colors, which will be purples. I think I'm just gonna go purples with this. So I'm gonna pause video, clean up this ladder, and then I'm gonna show you how I do the rest of this. All right, guys, back in a few. Okay, so I'm back now. I've got my colors that I want to use for my ladder, and I'll use it also for the window. So the first thing you want to do, which I did, is you want to go through and erase any brown that got on the ladder from the previous coloring. You know that's going to happen. And I've got a little left here. And make sure your windowsills are clean as well, because I'm going to do off camera the window frame as well, and the door. So we're going to stay consistent with that all the way through. All right. So first thing I'm going to do, let me swatch my colors so you can see what I got. I'm not going to get into anything wonky or complex. So I pulled the light, medium, and dark purple. My light purple is that one, which is pale purple, 045 Fila. My medium purple is purplish red, which is the 112. And my dark purple is the purple I used before on my mushroom, which is my deep purple 171. All right, so let's have some fun with the ladder. Okay, and again, any place that you have any brown interfering, you've got to erase it, because You don't want it to interfere two things. Number one, with your purple, obviously. And number two, I'm going to do a little bit of drawing on here. With my super thin pen. And if you are into, you know, marking up your book as I've been showing you, you want your Uniball Signo DX. And this little puppy is 0.28. You can get it on Amazon. Be sure you're careful to get the right size because they come in different sizes. So I got the 0.28. All right. So I'm just going to pull you out a tad. And very quickly, this does not take long, is I'm going to go through and just draw with my narrowest pen. Remember when I screwed up the leaves and used the wrong weight? Oh yeah, it wasn't deliberate, or excuse me, it wasn't a screw up, it was deliberate, so you could see what not to do. That's it. I forgot. Okay. So what you're going to do is periodically, we're going to go ahead and, you know, just draw some wood lines in here. Take 2 seconds to do it. And if you notice, I'm not doing it on every single piece. I may change my mind, but at the moment I'm not inclined to do it on every single one. And I'm going to do a little bit on the vertical bars. That's just or horizontal bars. And that's just a squiggle. And when I go back, if I don't forget, I'm going to color my dots in black. So with my pen, so I've got little like nail holes. Okay, so we've got these. I'm going to darken that just a little bit. You don't have to. If you don't like it, don't do it, obviously. And I know that that sounds obvious, but sometimes new people think that they have to do every little single thing that the artist does. I won't be offended if you don't. I really won't. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and take my lightest purple, which was my pale purple. And I'm going to go ahead and do a very light coloring. Horizontal and vertical bars. Takes 2 seconds to do. We're not doing anything exotic with this. Again, don't forget to rotate your pencil. Keep it sharp. Keep it out of the sharpener. Yeah, this is going to be a nice color for this, I think. Okay, and while I have my light purple in hand, remember when I did my penciling of the ladder, when I finally decided it needed to go off to the right, and I didn't ink it in. So what I'm going to do now is very, very lightly, I'm just going to go ahead and just touch it in different areas here. I mean, you hardly want it. That's almost too much that I've done. I've got my light purple. We're just going to do a little bit of a shadow here. Okay. And in fact, I'm just going to go ahead and now I'm going to take my eraser. I'm going to take my click eraser, which is this guy, it's the big one, and I'm just going to very lightly erase over that. And you can play around with it as to how dark you want it, but we only want a very, very light shadow. Okay, see how light I've gotten with that? Let me pull out and I think you'll see it better. I mean, this left side is still a little more than I want. Now, leave your shadow by the base, okay? Because you want that there. But everything else, we can very carefully take out. Use your judgment. Okay, cool. So, back to the ladder. And this will not take long, so stay with me. I'm taking my medium purple, which I'm going to sharpen a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lightly color over my lines that I drew in, and very, very lightly, except at this very top where I've, got it cut off, right? The ladder's cut off. Very, very lightly on the previous purple I put down. In fact, I'm not filling it in, I'm almost streaking it. But when I come to a part of the ladder that's got the lines, that's where I fill in a little more. See how I streak that? Okay. Now, I'm going to go back. Your light's coming from the left. So I'm just going to go now, and I'm going to very judiciously color my vertical lines on each post. Okay. And then when I color that line, if I go in a little bit, I lighten up, okay? So I'm literally coloring the line of the ladder because that picks up the purple. And that's Vicky saying hello. So right now I'm using that line of the coloring book to help me with my shading, right? It's kind of like what I did with the tree stump. Okay, so I'm going to go a little bit vertical on some of these posts. Again, I'm just hitting it. I'm not doing anything exotic, but I'm being random with it. Oh yeah. Okay, now, optional. I'm going to get a very sharp point on my deep purple. Okay, I've been holding back. Smoke on the water. Yeah, I did that before. I couldn't help it. I had to do it again. That's what I think of every time I do this deep purple. Okay, so I'm going to take my deep purple and I'm just going to, just a teeny tiny bit, is I'm going to shadow underneath the crossbar. If you don't want to do it, that's fine, but I would recommend it. And see how I just kind of came down to a little bit of an angle on that one? So I'm just wiggling my pencil just a tad. Make sure your purple goes all the way across the crossbar. Otherwise it's going to look wonky. But this is just one of those little touches. It's just so cool. Just like what I did on the mushroom. And again, make sure your shading reaches all the way across, because if it doesn't, it's going to look weird. Okay, hold on. And macro view doesn't look the best, but you know that I do that for you guys because I want you to see exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so let me turn this and pull out. How cool is that? Look at that. And you can really see that, guys. And don't fuss with it like I'm starting to do. Okay, so now I'm going to do over the, let me see. I'll do over the doorway real quick because it's bigger, and then the video will be done. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to use my 3 purples. And I'm going to start on the left-hand side with my darkest color. Now, I'm relatively light with that because, again, I may want to adjust. Then I'm going to take my medium purple. Oh, buggers, I forgot to pull in, sorry. My bad. Now notice I'm just coloring basically to one side, doing that for a reason. You'll see in a second, and it's towards the doorway. And then I'm going to take my lightest purple and finish the doorway. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to take my medium purple, go back and emphasize that inside there because I really love the way how that did that. Just on the inside. Because remember, I've got my light purple towards the outside. Okay. And look at how that gives like a nice depth. Okay, and then I'm going to take my deep purple and I'm going to darken in the base that I left it just a little bit lighter, just in case. Okay. And when I pull out, you're going to see, look, gives a nice dimension to the whole thing. All right, let me do that. And you're going to do the same for the window and the same for the bottom here. Okay, so my deep purple. Pull it in. Little circles in tight spaces. When you lift your pencil, turn it slightly. And this time I'm going to let my purple stay to the right as I go up. You don't have to, you can. So now I'm going to use my reddish purple, my medium purple. And then darken that towards the inside. And then I'm going to use my pale purple and come all the way up to the top. Dang, that looks cute. And then where your little joints are, you can use a metallic gold to finish that off. I'll tell you what, guys, let me do the window real quick for you. I don't want you to think I'm leaving you hanging here. But rather than use the deep purple on that base, I'm going to use my reddish purple on the bottom and just come up a little bit just for variety. So in other words, I'm not doing a line straight across. And then I'm going to use my pale purple. And if you want, take your deep purple and just hit the very, very bottom. Look at that. 3D effect, right? Dimensional. Right on the line. Love it. Okay, so let me zip you around here. So my deep purple on the bottom, not too deep. Leave a little bit of a jagged edge because we're going to go to a different color. Then my reddish purple. Hold on, I gotta sharpen my pencil. Let me hit this spot, it looks a little weird. Yeah, there we go. Reddish purple, jagged end if you can do it, if you're not too in a narrow spot. And then your pale, oh, I gotta sharpen that too. And my point's gonna go, yep. Hold on. Oh, I hate that when that happens. I'm so sorry, guys. Every once in a while you get that. And then we just finish that up. Now, the lattice that's on this, honestly, I haven't decided what I want to do with it yet. I don't want to rush into doing a color. My initial thought was the purple because I had it in hand. I'm not going to do that. So you might want to use your Prismacolor yellow ochre if you want. Let me do that. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. I think that'll look cool. And then if you want to do something really cool with it, make sure you stay off the black. If you want to do something really cool with it, get your ochre. This is my Prismacolor that I had before, and that was my 943. And go ahead and shoot a little brown, just a touch of brown, in patches, like in the center. And by center, I mean leave it end to end open, and then right in the center here. Look how cool that looks. So now I'm just getting in the little touches here. Now I don't want to tie you up, but you like this stuff. You told me that. By the way, thank you for all your emails. I don't get a lot of comments, but I get a lot of emails from people. That makes me feel good. Okay. Although it would be great if you do send comments, because then everybody else can see it. Oop, missed one. Hold on. Oh, yeah. You pull out. I am real happy with that. And if you do it carefully, and I say this with hesitation because you don't want to mush your colors together, but if you, I'm hitting the light purple spots where it looks a little grainy. Be really, really careful that you only hit that, because you don't want to make your other purples look mushy, which happens with too much blending. So I'm like doing 2 seconds, a second of blending here. And turn your blending pencil just like you do your regular pencils. Oh man, yeah, I'm happy. Yoo-hoo. Okay, I'm done. So, let me pull out. This is what we did tonight together, guys. And this is what you can do. Don't give up on me. I keep telling you till I'm blue in the face. I don't do stuff that I don't think that you can't do, right? Look at that. Look how cool all that looks. Actually, I'm thinking about doing a really neat border, so I may slip in one more quick video, and I'll do something with the grass for you. You know, this part in between. Okay, guys, I hope you learned something. I hope you like what I did. I hope you had an enjoyable time. I did. Joyous coloring, guys. Bless ya. This is ILene Vick for Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. Have a great rest of the evening. Bye.